right, 3, 2, 1. We are now recording.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Discussion Production Podcast, also known as DPP. Sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and relax as we start talking about stuff. More specifically, today we're going to be talking about video games.
You see, I know you wanted to do video games, but I wanted to take this topic today. I want to take today's topic in a different direction this time around. If that's okay with you.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna have any ideas, but if you
Look,
want to, sure.
this is stuff we've already talked about before, but let's talk about it with the audience. What I wanted to talk
Alright.
about today was like work in workplace situations and like just as like normal people who do like a day-to-day job, kind of like factory jobs. I wanted to talk
Right.
about like work with you on the podcast today.
All right. Definitely not expected, but all right.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess I
see?
could work with this.
Yeah, see?
Alright.
Coming out of left field right here.
Mr. Co-host,
Yeah.
you come up with ideas now. All right,
I got ideas too. Let me throw some ideas out there and let's start a conversation.
all right.
All right, yeah, see?
Start it off.
Okay. So, what I kind of like want to talk about is like previous jobs we've had, but like, well, for me personally, I've had like the same one job ever since I wait. Do we announce who we are? You announced the podcast, but you didn't say who we are.
We kind of did an introduction, but I'm sure we kind of mentioned where we work and all that. At least in the first episode, right? Because you
Yes,
mentioned that
yes.
your Walmart got raided.
Yeah, but no. See, we got stories about work. Watch this. I got
Yep.
this.
All right,
Yeah. So
definitely.
yeah. Well, what do you mean? Definitely, we can carry this.
No, I'm just saying definitely. We have stories. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we've got some stories about work.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Alright.
So a little bit about like the situation of where I worked for the past 2 years is I've worked at a Walmart. I started when I'm 18. I am now 20 years old. I've been working at this Walmart, like I said, for 2 years. When I got the job, I was kind of excited, but like I know what I was told when I first got the job, I would learn to hate the job, and that is 100% true. Like I hate this job so much at this point. Like it's like getting your first job is nice because it's like you get that feeling of like, oh, like this is what it's like to have money now,
You
and
pay your own money.
yeah, exactly. You get that feeling it's like, oh man, I have money now and I can actually do things instead of like being, a teenager in like high school. Because like all throughout high school, I never got a job. I didn't get a job until literally like 2 months after I graduated, and that's when I got the
Right.
job at Walmart. So
Yeah, and it's that sort of thing where it's just like you don't have to wait until your birthday, you don't have to wait until Christmas to try to get all that money. And you're just waiting, just like, oh my god, I want this new thing, but I can't because I don't have money. But when you work, you can buy whatever you want.
yeah, see, like that's what I like. It's like it gives you the freedom to do what you want and like when you want. Sort of like you're still living under someone else's like roof at the time, but like money gives you a little bit of like freedom to do what you want. You don't need to wait around for a certain time to like get money or anything. It's kind of there like readily available to you because you earned it and now it's yours.
Right.
My situation with work has been like weird in the past couple of years. So what happened with me while I've worked at Walmart, I'd say about for like the first 8 months, it's like you go on a team. It's called like Cap Team 2, and like those are the people who basically like work the line and take products off. Like for like you get a truck just about every day, and you take those products off of the truck, and you do all of that. And that's like the most grueling work I've ever had to like do in my life because I started around the summertime as well. Because
Oh gosh.
yeah, and like it's just like the thing I hate about like these warehouse jobs is like you're back there, and it's just so dull and gray and just so boring. It makes you depressed. Like I really hate that, but man, it's terrible.
Right. I mean, recently I was working at a warehouse and it was kind of rough because we didn't really have an AC. If we were lucky, there was like a fan that would like give air, but for the most part, it was hot.
What the heck?
And like that thing's like made out of metal. And since it was summer or whatever, it's just super hot.
Yeah.
And then we'd be working and working and working, and then we gotta box this, package this, do whatever. And I'm just sweating, like sweating. I'm just like, oh my god, help me.
Yeah. And like the thing about like Walmart is that when you would work that position, like working in the truck and all, they would want it done at like a certain like set time, but like their expectations were like literally impossible. It would be you walk in, kind of talk to everybody, greet yourself and whatnot, and then you say like you get your supervisor come up to you and say, oh, it's like, oh, like how many piece truck is this? And they'll be like, oh, this is a 1,600 piece truck. They want it done by 4 o'clock. And like the thing is, you start at 2 o'clock and you go all the way to 10, but like they want this stuff done in a matter of 2 hours. It's like, it's insane. But during that, it was like you would get days where you would not only get one truck, but it would be like 2 trucks, and like they're like, oh, we still want this done by like 4:30. And it's like, oh yeah, here's 30 minutes more for like double the task we already told you to do. And it's like some of the worst ones would be like a 2,500 piece truck, and those like, if this is not done by 4, like, you would get managers just yelling at you, telling you what to do, and like it'd be like you're basically going through hell. It was fucking awful.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that does sound awful. And then it's probably even worse when someone isn't lifting as much, or they're not like working as hard, because then you kind of have to pick up their slack.
Yeah, it's like you know how like the factory lines kind of are. Not like, it's not even a like electric line. It's just like a bunch of wheels, and you like push the stuff down from the truck and all. Was it like
Yeah.
that for you?
Well, no, I was more like stacking boxes and then wrapping them up, and then sometimes I would like boxes that I didn't wrap, I would put them in a truck, and I had to like stack them up.
Oh, so you were
in
like
regular
putting stuff
truck.
into trucks and stuff like that, huh?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, cool.
yeah, but I had done some unloading with the materials, but they moved me to do that because I couldn't lift all the heavy metals and other materials like wood and all that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I was doing.
that still sounds like pretty bad though.
I mean, it was. I just felt bad because I couldn't help with like all the lifting when I did have that job, and I kind of felt like I was an anchor, or not an anchor, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Kind of
was
like
weight.
yeah, like weighing everybody down, so kind of like an anchor.
Yeah,
Weird. Wow, I didn't even know about that. Well, like
yeah, that was my recent job though.
those are recent.
And I've had a few other ones.
Okay. Yeah, you get to tell those stories about that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was like the work I started out on, and but like then it's like, but like after you do that task, after you like unload the truck and everything, managers yelling at you, telling you guys you're doing the job too slow and all this, then it's like working on the floor, which is kind of like the area out with all the customers and whatnot. And yeah, and like in Illinois, I don't know if this, I know it's not specifically here, but the customers, like, they're so rude. Like it just feels like they get the idea that like you're there to serve them, but it's just like
That's everywhere.
yeah. See? And it's just like I'm just
Trust
here.
me.
Yeah, I'm just here to make my money. Like I don't need you yelling at me, telling me like I'm stupid. I don't know what I'm doing. But it's like it's my like first week here, so
Right.
yeah. I can't stand like disrespectful customers. It's like now, like back then I'd get like worried about it, but like now like I don't care anymore. I just like walk away. Doesn't matter to
Right.
me anymore.
You want to talk about how you started off working in the floors instead?
Oh no, that was still the same thing. It was like you would unload the truck at the beginning of the day, and then they would like transition you over to like working over the floor. Like all the stuff that you unloaded the truck, then you would have to throw out. It's like what you got in
Really?
what you got in that afternoon, and then like you run that stuff throughout the night.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like it's a lot of work. It was really really bad, but man, I hated that. Yeah. And then from there, somehow, because like I would work, because instead of having me over in grocery, they decided to be like started to put me over working in the pharmacy area for some reason. I don't know why, but
Right.
like the pharmacy was like a 2-person task, and like I was able to get it done by myself on like a nightly basis, which is why they kept throwing me over there like over and over again. But I don't know, somehow that led to the pharmacy work, like the actual like pharmacy over in the Walmart. Somehow that like led to them wanting to hire me. So like after I went from being like the Cap 2 person, I would like transition over to like a pharmacy technician.
Right.
And let me say, I was a very, very bad pharmacy technician because even when I gave him my resume and talked to him in the interview, I told him I told him that I didn't know anything about any of these like drugs or like how any of this stuff works, but and he still hired me, and I have no idea why. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you don't exactly have to know every single thing and what it does, but I mean, it is kind of good to know.
Yeah, it's really good to know because like I would always get like customers like, oh, it's like it'll be like, oh, in this bag you have like this, and this, and I'll be like, and then I would go, so they would ask me, it'd be like, so like, what does this do? Like, is that like my blood thinner medication? Is that my heart medication? And I was like, I have no idea, and I can't say that to them. So like, I can't just be like, I have no idea what any of these things do. So like, I would always turn back to the pharmacist, and I'd be like, what does amlodipine do? What is like Inaxapril and all these like different like what do all these drugs do? Because I'd be so confused because I didn't know how to do any of that stuff.
And they didn't label them?
It's like no, yeah. All you know is like the name of these drugs. It's kind of like if you become a pharmacy technician, they kind of expect you to know what these things do. It's like it should be like common knowledge.
I just kind of expected it to be like, oh, painkillers are on this shelf and like antidepressants are on this shelf or whatever else. You know what I mean?
No, it's weird the way you would do the things. It's like you would look on the online order for it wouldn't be an online order, but like it was like an online system per se. And what you would do is like you would print out the labels and you would get the pill bottles, and then like behind the pharmacy you've seen like a Walmart pharmacy before, right?
Yeah.
You see all like all those racks in the back, and it has like all the different pills and stuff.
Yeah.
So for us, what it was that in like the way it was going across from like left to right, it was in alphabetical order. So whatever drug you were looking for, it was just like you find out like whatever you find what that is on the shelf. You look at the number, you like separate and divide it, you throw the pills into a bottle, and then like you count it out, you put it into the bottle, and like that's it.
Dang.
Yeah. And it was a lot of doing that, going back and forth, making sure we can fill as many prescriptions in a day as possible, and like a lot of stuff like that. That was like the job. And like one of the things two of the things I was really bad at was trying to answer the phone, because like when like I said, I have the problem where like I don't know how to answer any of the questions that they have for me. So yeah, so like I would just be there for I think the worst I had was like some lady, and she told me like, she's like, oh yeah, this is the worst situation, like you're the worst person I've ever talked to. And like I was like seconds away from like yelling at this lady. I was like, shut the fuck up, please. And but I didn't, because it was like an old lady, and I was like, oh god, like I don't want to snap. I just got this job. This is gonna be like really, really fucked up. But like I was holding back so hard, man. It's tough.
I know. Answering the phone is tough. Like especially if you're an introvert or whatever. It's just kind of hard to like answer the phone. Like, and even like talking on the phone, it's different than talking to a person like actually in person. You have to sound professional, and you have to do this, you have to do that. Whereas like if you're doing in person, it's different. You could just like talk normally and it's fine.
Yeah.
But you gotta sound professional on the phone.
Yeah, see, like I'd be good at like the register and talking to people there, but like when it came to on the phone, I had like no idea what I'm supposed to do. Like I'm just confused. Yeah.
Yeah. When I had my office job, I had to answer the phone.
Oh,
and
boy.
at first I didn't know how to make any of the appointments and all that.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I doing? I don't know how to tell this person. I don't know what the system is like. I am so sorry. I'm pretty sure I apologized to the person like 1,000 times just because I was so slow.
Yeah.
But I mean, eventually I got it. And then there was also times where you would get like attorneys and all that calling, saying like, hey, I have a patient here, the insurance is gonna cover this and this. You would have to fill out like a whole form.
Yeah. Oh,
and I
okay.
was like,
wow.
how am I supposed to fill all this out?
Yeah, like I don't want to wait. I'm not gonna cut you off. I'll let you talk. I had like the same issue. Like when like you have to enter somebody's like insurance information into a system, that confused me so much. And then when they had to complain about that, I'd be like, look, your insurance won't cover it, and it's hard to explain to somebody that their insurance won't cover like a specific drug or something. It just blows my mind. But I'll let you continue what you had to say.
But yeah, you would talk to these attorneys, and then you would have to like fill out all this information, and then if you so happen to miss one piece of information, you would have to go through this process of like calling them back, and then the front desk person would answer you, and then they would have to transfer you over to another person, and that person would transfer over you to the attorney, and it's just like, you have to be on top of everything.
Yeah.
But imagine telling someone, hey, your insurance doesn't cover this medicine. Maybe it did a while ago, but now it doesn't. That's gotta be hard.
Yeah, because it would like here's what it's like. Okay, well normally I get this prescription for like $20 or $30. Well, your insurance is not covering it. It's gonna cost you like $300-$400. And I'm like, what? And it's like, and then like they'll get up and like in my face and like they'll like yell at the pharmacist, and it would be like a whole situation. But it's like, you like we can't give you the drugs if your insurance is not covering it. You're not getting the drugs, so it would be like a hard situation to deal with.
Right. And I think most customers or whatever don't really understand that it's not like your fault. Like that's just how it goes. The insurance says, sorry, it can't cover this drug or whatever. You're gonna have to pay for it. And
Yeah.
then, they're all mad and upset, and well, they have to take it on someone, right? So they take it on the pharmacist.
Yeah, I think one of the worst situations was that because one thing I didn't mention was like there are certain drugs that are like kind of like the heavy type of drugs, like the ones that people like get addicted to.
Yeah.
Like they're behind like the pharmacy desk that like only a pharmacist has the key to. So like if you're a pharmacy like technician like I was, the pharmacy technician, your job is just like assist the pharmacist, fill out prescriptions, and do it as quick as possible. And like
Right.
there are certain drugs that like it's like only the pharmacist can access, and like you have to do like a double count on these types of drugs because like that's just how addictive they are. You don't want to give them too many, and like these are the ones that always need to be like counted and double checked and everything.
Right.
And we had one guy like on the prescription thing because they'd like updated the system. I think the doctor sent in like a prescription and they wrote on it like, do not give this man the prescription because it's in need of intervention. And it was so hard to like watch the man sit there. He was getting, we let him sit there for about 2-3 hours. Like that's how adamant he was about getting like the drug. But we just kept saying like, oh, we're contacting your insurance company. We were just making excuses because like if you're taking a drug and it says like need for intervention, there's no way we can give that to them. But yeah, like I think that was like the worst situation where like you could see like every hour he was getting like more and more agitated, and like he was like getting like really really angry, like almost as if he was gonna like hop over to the counter and like just like I don't know, beat all of our asses or something. But I think that was like one of the worst situations, was like trying to like deal with the situation like that. That's awful.
Right, and then people just get mad in general for waiting. And I would imagine if he's addicted to that drug or whatever, then he'd be willing to do more than just get mad and yell.
Yeah, see.
But I mean, there are plenty of crazy stories when I worked at my Albertsons.
Oh yeah, please do tell. Oh wait, let me tell about like let me finish up with the pharmacy thing.
Sure.
So the way I ended up losing my pharmacy job was not by dealing drugs and giving all the customers a bunch of extra stuff. So I went. Yeah.
I would hope it wouldn't be.
One side story. one more side story before I have to cut off the pharmacy story. The thing, I didn't know this at the start, but we a Walmart pharmacy can just give you syringes. If you ask for syringes, they just have to give it to you. I didn't know that at first. Like the first time someone gave me that question, I was like, I'd look back at the pharmacy manager like, can we just give people like syringes? And like he's like, yeah. It's like I think it was only like $1.65 for like a pack of like 10 insulin syringes, and yeah, and so like we would I think like once we got one person who did it, you would get like so many like fucked up like looking people. Like I'm not trying to be mean here, but like mainly the people who would get these syringes are like people who are doing like heroin. Oh my god, are people who are doing like heroin and stuff because like they need like is that heroin that you need like the needle to like shoot it up?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it might be heroin, but like you could tell by the like because you know people like wait in line. You could tell like what they were gonna ask for. It's like you already know. It's like, oh, I'm about to go and get some insulin syringes because it would it would be like these like really messed up looking people, and they'd be like scratching themselves in line and like doing a bunch of stuff. And I'd be like, oh god, like I don't want to deal with another one. It would it would always be like they'd be like, oh, like, hey man, can I get like a pack of 29 gauge? It's like I think it was like 29 gauge, 100cc insulin syringes, and like it would be like the most messed up looking people that you've ever seen in your life, and I'd be like, I'd feel bad, and I'd be like, can we just like not give them syringes? It's like if they got the money for it, we just give them a pack of 10 syringes, and it's like, there you go, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's politics behind all the needles and all that, but I mean, I'd rather not get into all that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think one of like the weirdest customers who like had asked for that, it was like some man, he like walked up and he said, hey man, can I get some like insulin syringes? And like he's like he was looking at my name tag because a lot of customers like looking at my name, they obviously can't pronounce it, and they can't just like look at it and be like, oh, like cool name. And it's like no, because they can't pronounce it. But it would like I had like one customer and he was asking for syringes. I went back, I got the syringes, I came back to the register, and he's like, hey man, I like your name.
They can and all that.
Yeah, he'd be like, hey man, I like your name. And he's like, you know about me? And I was just like confused. I was like, wait, why would I know about you? Like, what the fuck? And then and he was like, he's like, yeah, like I'm a really dangerous man. You should watch out. And like I was just so confused. I was like, what does any of this stuff mean? Well, like, yeah, and I like he's like, yeah, it's like you should watch your back and stuff. And I had never seen this man before in my life. I was just confused. And he's like,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a dangerous guy, and I was like, yeah, I gave him syringes, and like I've never seen him again in my life. So that was like my weirdest story about like syringes and being over in pharmacy.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And then the way I lost that job was that I decided one day I'm going to go on vacation with my friends. I think it was last summer. I went on vacation to have a good time with my friends. All having a good time at a theme park. We went to Cedar Point. Oh, living it up, having a good time. I get a call from my manager. He says, oh yeah, we're downsizing the pharmacy. Basically, you're fired. And I was like, oh, nice. Yeah. And so many bad things that actually already happened on that trip, but that's not for today. Today we're talking about how I lost my pharmacy job and work, and yeah, and I am no longer a pharmacy technician. Now I still work at Walmart, and I work in the produce section. Such fun. All right, and I'm gonna let you talk about your own story for a little bit. I've been going on for a while.
All right. So I guess we could start with one of the craziest stories that I've had happen to me. So I was just, doing my thing, doing whatever, and then someone asked to, get propane, like the gas or whatever for like the grill.
Yeah.
So I go to get the key, but it wasn't there. I asked everybody, and then they're like, "Oh, well, X person has the keys," and then they're like, oh, he's over there. So I go over there, and he's holding onto a cart, and like there's these two like there's these two black guys. Like the race doesn't matter, but still. Anyway, they were like getting all mad, and then they were getting in their faces and all that. I didn't know what was happening, and then the manager was there too. He was trying to stop them. I guess they were trying to shoplift, and that's why the guy had his hand on the cart or whatever. So I just grabbed the keys, did the propane and all that, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And next thing you know, I'm coming back inside, and the two dudes just run off, like dart off.
Yeah.
And I just see a whole like squad of police cars just showing up, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And I start walking back, right, and like all the squad cars that surrounded the store and everything, and then police officers chase him and they finally tackle him, and like is this whole thing. I go back inside, like, and they tell me the story. It's just like, oh well, the back end manager was trying to stop them from stealing and all that, and then because the guy got in his face and he was like, I'm gonna beat your ass and you're blah, 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 blah. The manager was ready. He got his box cutter out, like, you know those like small box cutters that you just like push up on.
Yeah, what? What the hell? This escalated quickly.
He took that out, and the guys got all tough and all that, because apparently they said they had weapons or something. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the hell?
And then I was just seeing all this, like, ooh, okay.
That's such a
Yeah.
that's such an awkward situation. What the fuck?
Yeah. And I was like, holy crap. If I stood there for a little bit longer, God knows what would have happened.
Yeah, that's bizarre. What the hell?
And I was thinking, bro, what if this dude just gets me as like a hostage or something? Because he was like darting like super close to me. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is the end of me. This is where I die.
And then the store itself just had a bunch of issues. Like, people would steal there all the time, and then there'd constantly be issues.
Yeah, you're just talking about this is the Albertsons, right?
Yeah, the Albertsons.
Yeah.
I remember one time, like an undercover or whatever came in.
Wait, like,
and they were
wait,
just,
wait.
you know,
Undercover cop or like just one of your store people?
like one of the store people, but like they kind of like check what items been stolen. They don't get involved, but you know they're still kind of like undercover cops.
No, is it like this basically like the secret shopper person, or is it like it's like a whole different type of thing we're talking here?
I think it's like a secret shopper.
Okay, yeah, we got those at our store too. It's weird.
Anyway, she came in and she was like, okay, keep it on the down low, but you gotta call the police because there's a man with a machete outside threatening people. I was like, what the fuck? And then I was scheduled to go on carts in like 1 hour
Yeah.
from when this lady said this, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not going out to work hard. Sorry, guys. Hell no.
And I was kind of like, oh my god, this is where I die.
Yeah.
But luckily, half an hour later, I saw all the police cars and all that, and they got him. I was like, thank God.
That's just like such a bizarre situation. Like, who decides to bring like a machete to Albertsons? Like, do you have nothing better to do with your time? Are you okay? It's like, who brings a machete?
They had mask and everything.
Oh no, is it the purge? Or are they...
I don't know, man.
What the hell?
And I remember, like, when they said this, I went like into the back room because I had to do something, and I was just like praying. I was like, please do not let this dude be over here, because like, I don't know, this is giving me some weird vibes.
I wouldn't be like, yeah, I wouldn't say I wouldn't be afraid, but I don't think one guy with the machete is gonna mow down an entire store. He's not John Wick.
But like, this was outside, and he would like try to get people as they were going to the cars and all that.
What the well, do you guys not always have like cops on site? Because at Walmart we always have like police in front of
No.
the store, like at the door.
No,
What the?
we had security, but they weren't allowed to touch him.
Oh, I think that like the policy at Walmart is that like we as like the workers, we can't touch them, but like security and like those people, they can do whatever they want.
Security can't. The actual security guards that has the uniform, they can't do anything.
Wow, that is kind of a dumb policy.
The only one that has to do it is like loss prevention. They're the only ones that could do anything.
Yeah. Wow.
Do you know how many times they called the cops to go to that store because something was going down?
We really didn't get too many things that happened at Walmart, but wow, it seems like you guys really had an exciting couple of days.
No, and then on my first week of working, right? I was gonna go help a guy clean or whatever, and then I finished up cleaning the guy's restroom, and then I came back a while later, and then this dude said, "Bro, the craziest thing just happened to me," and I was like, "What?" He was like, "So I opened the door to the lady's restroom like after I knocked and everything, and this lady was just knocked out on the floor."
What the fuck?
Yeah, And I was like, what? Yeah, the lights were off, and then she was just passed out. And this is like 8 o'clock at night or something like that. And he was like, bro, I am done with this store. I am not dealing with that.
Yeah. Wow. What the? Wait, what happened to her?
And
Like,
then
was she okay and everything, or like?
they think she was on something.
Okay.
Because I don't know, I think she had something with her. I don't know if it was a syringe or like pill bottle or something.
Ah.
But like she was like the homeless type and all that.
Okay.
And so the manager came in or whatever, and she was like, "Oh, you have to leave, blah 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 blah. You can't be here or whatever." And she was like, "What do you mean? I haven't been here that long. It's barely 5 o'clock, and it was already like 8."
Yeah. At that point, it's just like, nah, we gotta kick you out of the store. You can't be here.
Yeah. So they kick her out and all that. It's like, god damn. I would have hated to be the person to discover that, because it's just like, holy shit, am I gonna have to like put it in a report or something or what?
Yeah. But you'd only do that if you were maintenance, because you said it was like in the female bathroom.
Yeah. But I mean, we still have to clean the women's restroom. We just kind of have to like knock and all.
Yeah, that makes sense. They made you guys do like maintenance and stuff, even if you were just like one of the normal workers.
Of course. I was the courtesy clerk, right? And we had to sweep the floors. We had to clean the restrooms. We had to put them back on the shelf. We had to push carts. We had to bag. I can't remember what else we did. But yeah, there was no janitor, so the courtesy clerks were the ones that had to clean everything. There was a spill. We had to clean it up.
Wow, that's a lot.
And I mean, the reason why there's such high turnover is like so many things happen. You have to deal with so much, and you're getting paid $7.25.
Oh yeah, yeah. We should have talked about like that, like the pay in terms of like what you get over there in Nevada.
Right. And like the state minimum wage is $8.25. But because Albertsons offered like government stuff, like you could like renew, I think you could like renew your car registration or something, like you could do like DMV stuff.
Yeah.
And there's like a bank and everything. So they're technically like a government company or whatever. So they could use a state, not state, they could use the government minimum wage, which the government minimum wage is $7.25.
That's like, especially like living in America today, like no, there is no way anybody can survive off $7.25. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
And you'd be lucky if you got 30 hours. Most of the time I just got like 25 max. So I was bringing home like $90 to $100 a week.
Yeah. See, at that point, like I don't think there's a point working, but like we said at the beginning, like money is money. But if that little, that just doesn't make sense. Like even starting at Walmart, well, I know like minimum wages and stuff are different, like depending on state, but at least like starting at Walmart, I was getting paid, or I believe like $11.
Right.
And then like I think a couple, well, I wouldn't say, probably like, I don't know, probably about a year ago or so. I wouldn't say a year, but it's like a while back they bumped that up to, when you're starting you get paid $12 an hour. Oh, and then I was gonna say like how the way it is now is I think because like certain people they got like an additional like a little extra money in their each paycheck. Like the way it is now, I think people who start they get $12, but like the way I get paid, I get $13.16 an hour. So and to think like you're over there getting like you were only getting $7.25, that doesn't make any sense to me like at all.
Right. And then when it was COVID, for like 2 weeks we would still have to work through COVID for $7.25, but then they're like, oh well, everybody's gonna get $2 raise. So then I was making $9.25.
Yeah.
But then like around that time I had left, when the whole thing started, like a month or so after COVID started or something like that.
Mhm.
And then there were talks of them going back to $7.25 because they were like, oh well, COVID isn't a big deal anymore. People aren't like raiding the store, so we're just gonna move back to $7.25.
Yeah.
But then I think they raised the government minimum wage to $9.25. So I mean, I guess it's better now, but it's just like still $7.25 for all the crap you have to deal with.
Yeah, it's like it was kind of. I'm not gonna say it was the same way they did. There's no way I can like compare this, but the amount of work that we did back on like when I was working on the Cap 2 position, the amount of work compared to like somebody who was like sitting at a register or just somebody who didn't move throughout the day, the amount of work that you did, it just didn't seem right that you were getting paid the same amount as everyone else. Because like, even when I look at those like workers now that I don't work over in that section anymore, it still feels like they do all that work and they get paid, I think, still the least. Because like front end electronics, it depends, wherever you work, you get paid more than what you did like when you started. Even I think like apparel people, which I don't think that job is too much labor work, let's be honest. But yeah, like the amount of work that some people do and the pay that they get, it's just really, really unfair.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I was just like, this job isn't worth it. But I mean, I at least need the job experience.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what am I gonna put on a resume? I worked on Albertsons for like a month. What's that gonna get me? I
Oh,
don't care.
you know, in the resume, I would like spice it up. I was like, yeah, I'm like pharmacy technician. I know a lot about drugs. I can get you some.
Just that statement you just said there. It's just like, I'm a pharmacy technician. I know a lot about drugs.
Yeah, man, I was a pharmacy technician for like 3 years, even though it was like 3 months. But you know, put that on the resume and be like, yeah, this is me. You should hire me right now. What you want, what those drugs do, I got you. Don't worry.
And then they just ask you, she's like, oh, good, you know all this stuff.
You need some
All these
syringes,
new
I can
guys
hook you
don't.
up.
You're the manager.
You want some syringes? Bro, I got you. Next week, don't worry about it.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, these new guys don't know what these drugs do. I'm gonna make you a manager,
Yeah.
even though you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had plenty of stories. Like, that's not even counting all the bad customers that would walk in and get like super mad and all that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think even in like my first like 3 days, I got yelled at because I guess like I wasn't speaking loud enough when I was telling the lady that something was over in a different aisle, and like she got like really, really angry. She's like, instead of just pointing over there, just tell me where it is. And I was like yelling across the aisle. To me, I was yelling, but I guess she didn't hear me at all. And I was like pointing out, it's like, oh, like where's the macaroni? And it's like I'm pointing over there and telling you that it's over in that aisle, and like I was getting like yelled at constantly. Yeah, it was bad.
Alright. That was the thing too. I am super quiet in general. But especially when I started working there, I was super quiet. And the people were like, huh? What? What? Like coworkers and customers alike.
Yeah, like whenever I'd like try to talk to somebody, it'd be like, wait, what? What'd you say? And to me, I'd be yelling. I didn't even think I was being quiet. I was like yelling these things to people. I'm like, huh? What? What'd you say? And I really hate when people are like, oh wait, I didn't hear you. What'd you say? And I was like, oh my god. It's like I'm trying here. Like I know I'm like introverted a little bit and whatnot. I'm trying to be outgoing. I'm trying to talk to you, and it just didn't work.
Right? And it's just like, I don't want. It's just like you kind of don't want to be rude and like yell at them. But I mean, if they can't hear you, then you kind of have to raise your voice like a little bit, and then you just kind of have to hope that they don't find that like as attitude.
Yeah. But it's like I'm trying to speak to you in the way that I know how. It's like I'm speaking louder than I normally do. I'm trying, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I remember this one time I was helping a guy get liquor or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I do the whole thing, and then he was like, "Oh, where's this item?" I'm just like, "Oh, I think it's over here." And I show him where it is, and it's like, "Oh, well, I don't think it's there anymore." And I try to check another aisle that has the same item. It's like, "Oh, it's not there." And it's like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry, I can't help you." And then he's like, "They're just not gonna help me." I'm just like, "Sorry, I can't. Like, I don't know." And then a while later, he talks to the manager, and he's like, my manager comes talk to me. He's like, "Yeah, this guy told me that you were being rude or something, and you told him that he had to help himself." I was like, "What? I didn't say any of that."
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Well, yeah, I kind of figured you're quiet in general, and you help out or whatever, and like I didn't expect you to be the one to like be rude. So I guess if he has a question, bad. Just come talk to us or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But I was like, how is he gonna tell my manager that I was being rude when I was trying to help him? And it's like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I used to hate that when like a customer would ask something and like they would ask for something and like I would go in the back, look for it, and they'd be like, "Wait, what do you mean you don't have it?" It's like I don't know, it wasn't back there. And like I used to get like so scared of like customers back then, but like now where I'm at now, it's like we don't got it. My bad. We can go our separate ways. We don't have it. Get out of my face. That's how it is now at this point.
Pretty much that's how I felt like in the last few months.
Yeah.
Like especially because like I was trying my best like move up and all that, but I never got the chance to. So that was fun.
Yeah, you had to like do that the whole thing that you had to do with your manager because you thought like there's like a whole like bias thing, right?
Yeah, and I mean we still have time. I guess I gotta talk about that.
Yeah.
So like I want to say 4 to 5 months into working there was gonna be an opening in 2 positions, I think. One was Starbucks because they had a Starbucks in Albertsons, and another was like a stalker, like you know what I mean, like the one that puts stuff on, like on the shelves and all.
Yeah, like a stalker.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the right word, but
Yeah.
whatever. So I applied for both, and like I even talked to the managers of both, and they're like, "Yeah, you're a hard worker. We'll be down to hire you, whatever." And it's like, "Okay, cool." I put in the application, or like I go talk to them, and they're like, "Oh well, yeah, I just put in an application, blah blah blah." And it's like, "Okay." I fill out the application and all that. I give it to them. I put it on their desk and all that. And then the next day, there's already another person working at the Starbucks. I was like, what the heck? I just put in my application. Like, yeah, but we already hired this person, blah, 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 blah. So, okay, what about the stalking position or whatever? And like, oh, well, they can't afford to put you on. They can't afford to pay another person. And I was like, really? That's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
All right. And then there was another one. It was the meat deli. Same thing. They were willing to hire me. And they're like, oh, well, we can't do that because, like, the stores, they're doing a remodel and we can't move anyone. So I was like, really? He's like, yeah, you gotta wait until after the remodel. After the remodel, I try to apply to produce. They're like, oh, well, you can't do that because COVID is happening. It's just like, how many times can you give me the same excuse? Like, you might as well just say, hey, I don't want to move you up.
Yeah. So I think it just feels like it's like, oh well, you can't do you here. It's like try again. It's like you try again. It's like, well, no. And then it's like, okay, like, well, we gave the position to somebody else. It's like, okay, I'm done here. I can understand that.
Yeah, and then my main manager, the main one, it's just like, I would be working hard and all that, but the thing is, like, I do things kind of quickly, just because I like to get things done, and then I'd start doing something else, and so she'd think, like, oh, well, he's not doing his work, or he's not doing it properly, or whatever, because he's doing it too quickly, even though I know the work I'm doing, I know I finish quickly, but I start doing something else. But, and then I start to hear from, like, 3 or 4 other people. They're just like, dude, the manager's talking crap about you. She's saying that you're the laziest courtesy clerk and that you don't work hard and then this and that. And I was like, really? That's how it's gonna be. Huh.
It's crazy.
Alright.
I'm like, why would a manager like ever like talk back? Like, it's okay for like normal associates to like talk bad about people, but like when like a manager does it, that's where like it gets a little iffy.
Right. And then it's just like, the manager was just bad in general. I remember, I was feeling sick or whatever, and this was like at the start of COVID or whatever.
Yeah, I remember this one.
And I had to go in the back because I was like coughing and like throwing up or whatever. And then the manager's like, well, why didn't you clean the bathroom? It's just like, I'm sorry, I had to like cough and throw up or whatever. And then she was like, I don't care, you have to clean the restrooms. And I was just like, you just heard me, right? I literally just said I am coughing and throwing up, and you still want me to clean the restrooms?
Yeah.
You still want me to even be here?
Yeah.
But no. 2 days later, I like cough into my sleeve or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, well, you gotta go home. You gotta get tested." Just because we were at the front end and they were customers. I was like, "Really?
Well,
Like, what?"
yeah, like a funny thing. Oh, it's not funny, but like I know during the beginning of this, like when I would like go to work, if you would like so much as like cough or sneeze, everybody would look at you like you were like diseased or something. It the weirdest thing.
Yeah, no, that's how I felt when everybody was looking at me, and I feel like that's why she did it
Yeah.
because everybody was looking. But then it's just like, I think even when you had to be quarantined for 2 weeks, but they still pay you, or like at least they paid me. Um, my manager was like, "Well, if we don't get verification, we can't pay you for the week." And I was like, "Really?" And I called my union or whatever, and then they were like, "Oh, well, yeah, we're gonna pay it." And then she was like, "Oh, well, yeah, we're gonna pay you." And I was like, "Huh, it's funny how you didn't want to pay me at first."
It's that like they're afraid of like the union thing because like, they don't want that coming down on them.
Right, and then I think I also reported them because like there was a new Cursor Click, and like for 2 or 3 weeks, because he was and he got 40 hours, right? 40 hours for like the 3 weeks, even though like you're only supposed to get 1 week of 40 hours because you're training. But anyway, he was consistently getting 40 hours while I was getting like 20, 25 at max, even though I was working there for like 8 months.
Yeah, it's like it just
And, like,
seems
I don't
like
want
it's
to
biased.
assume things. I don't want to assume things, but like that new Cursor Click was the same race as this manager. So
Don't be afraid. What was the race? Why are you? Don't be afraid to say it. What?
my manager was black, and so was the Cursor Click.
Okay.
And then all us other people would like get less hours and be treated differently too, because like many times, those same Cursor Clerks, they would be lazy, but to us like Hispanic and like white ones or whatever, anything that we mess up, if we're like 1 minute late to punch in or whatever, we'd get yelled at and we'd get warnings and we'd get this. So
Oh, no.
I finally just reported her to the union, and she stopped for a while, and then I quit after that.
Yeah.
But from what I heard from friends that are still in the store, they say she's still the same.
Yeah. Oh wow. That's well. Like at least you got like out of the situation. You're like, man, I'm not gonna take this. Like I'm done. Like there's nowhere for me to move. There's nowhere for me to move up here. It's not gonna happen. I get treated like shit and all. So it's like there's no point in me staying here. I'm out. So that was kind of cool that you did that though.
Yeah, I mean, I felt trapped. Like, I can't move up. There's no other job that would hire me because I was applying elsewhere. Am I just gonna be stuck at this Albertsons for like the rest of my life or something? But then luckily I just quit and then I found a job right after that.
Yeah. It's like, well, I get that. I'm starting to get this feeling in the past couple of months where I'm starting to lose my mind working at this Walmart because it's not even like the work is hard or that any of it's like too bad for me. It's that like it's the associates and the people that I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis that makes me like want to blow my brains out. It's awful. Like we just lost a good majority of our team, and they were like the good people who actually worked. We lost
Right.
Yeah, we lost 4 people in the past, I'd say 2-3 weeks, because Amazon's taking over the world. They just built 2 new facilities over here in Illinois, and
Right.
yes, so like we're losing associates at Walmart like left and right, and it just like I don't know how people are just like so dumb. I can't work with like idiots. Like we just got like a new hire, but he was someone who was previously fired from like a different section of the store. He came back to like he came back, and now he's working over in the produce section with me. And like the first conversation I had with this guy was like I was like, oh hey man, what's up and whatnot. And he was like, he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I got fired and whatnot. I'm back, and he's like, it's like 20 minutes later after that conversation, it was like, he's like, hey man, like, he's like, you want to know what I love about working at this Walmart? Is that is that like managers, like, you can get away with doing like whatever you want. Managers, they're not even like paying attention or anything, which is like true, but like at least still try to get your job done. But like it's like I already know, like, from the beginning, I'm not gonna like this guy because like he doesn't even work, and yeah, and I hate the feeling of being the only person who works in a section, and when I sit around, nobody's doing anything. If I'm the only one trying, what's the point in even doing the job? So when I was at work yesterday, I didn't do any work. I just sat around and I stood there because I was like, if I'm the only one working, there's no point in me doing this job, and I'm gonna get paid regardless of whether the task gets done or not. I like actually getting the task done. I'm okay with people like technically like being lazy, but like I don't care if you hang around as long as we like finish the job and stuff first. So it's just like, if you don't do the job, if you don't do anything, like, why are you here?
We had plenty of things like that. This one time, the manager that got me in is like good friends with my dad or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's a hard worker too and all that. And one time it was like a closing shift. It was like I want to say like 8, and this other courtesy clerk was missing for an hour. And then so we go to like look around or whatever, and in the employees restroom or whatever, like there was a lady there like waiting right there.
Yeah.
And then she looks at the manager and she's like, I've been trying to use the restroom for like the past hour, but it's locked and no one's answering, blah blah blah. I'm getting irritated. So the manager goes to knock on the door or whatever, and the courtesy clerk that was missing, the girl or whatever, the one that wasn't working, she comes out, and because the lady was like knocking on the door like super hard, she thought it was him. So, oh wait, hang on, I should clarify.
Yeah.
I had left around 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know she was lazy and all that. And then, so I go home, and around 8, when this all happened, the whole thing goes down. They get into an argument because, you know, she's supposed to be doing cards, but they're like, the manager showed me like pictures. There was no carts inside, even though she was scheduled to be out there. Anyway, this whole argument or whatever happens, and then the next day, he calls me on my phone. He's like, "Hey, I know it's your day off or whatever, but you might have to come in." I was like, "Oh, well, is the store busy this thing?" He's like, "No, it's because I got into an argument with the person or whatever, you know, the girl."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, blah, blah, blah. You and Adam are always harassing me." I was like, that was the whole point. It's just like, she mentioned my name, even though I had left like 2-3 hours prior. And I was like, I'm harassing people. No. I hardly even talk to people, much less harass them. He's like, I know, but that's what she said. And then maybe the mom has to like report it and everything. And then I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
She had to drag my name down into the dirt, even though I hardly even talked to her. But I guess because she knew that this manager was the one that got me in, I guess she had to drag my name through the floor.
That's really, really fucked up. I've never had like anybody do that to me. Like, I've never had anyone try to like drag me down with them. They've never like put my name in their mouth, like when like a situation has gone bad. It's like, well, Ken didn't do like this, and this. It's like, no one's ever tried to do that to me. It's crazy.
Right. And it's just like, can you tell why I left there? Sometimes I'm left wondering, how the hell did I manage to stay a whole year there?
Yeah, it's like, dude, I'm telling you, like, I'm 2 years into this job, and I'm losing my mind. I don't want to work at Walmart ever again in my life. Like, once I'm done here, I'm not looking back. I don't care. I'm done.
Right. I could work on a Walmart and you could work in Albertsons. How's that sound?
Oh hell no! Fuck out of here. Or we can all just go to Amazon because they're taking over the world.
Right.
Look, guys, we got $15 an hour, but we work you like slaves. Sounds like a pretty good deal, right?
Oh man. Isn't work just lovely?
Yeah, man. I hate work. I hate the job that I have. Like, work is terrible. See, like I said, it wouldn't be bad if it weren't for the people that I had to work with. And now, see, and here's the problem that like my manager, she doesn't understand. It's just like she's like, oh yeah, we're losing associates, but like the fault is also on the managers, and not only that, you can't just keep hiring new associates and think that's gonna fix the problem, because all of these new associates that you're hiring, it's like teenage like kids who don't care about having a job and they don't pay like they don't pay attention to like teaching them what to do. Even when I was 18 and I got the job, I was still paying attention and learning how to do the job, but like it's like these people, they're not trained, and it's not only that they're not trained, but they don't want to be trained because they don't care about the job at all.
And like when I was there or whatever, when I was working at Albertsons, the teenagers would be like, bro, I got 20 hours, that's lit. And I was like, and then they would complain when they get like 30 to 40 hours. I'm just like, bro, I'll take those hours. And then I would talk to the manager or whatever, and they're like, nah, you get your schedule. And then they would just call out because they don't want to work all the 30 to 40 hours. And I was like, see, this is why you should have given me the hours. They were kind of strict.
Yeah, but like, for me, it's like I'm like I said, I'm okay with you not doing work. It's just that like the job that like we had to do initially, at least like do that, and then we can hang around, because like that's kind of what I do. Like I hang around and I sit on my phone, but like only after the job is already done. It doesn't make sense, because like I said, at the Walmart we work at, the managers, they really don't check up on you. It's like we do what we want when we want. Essentially you just do what you want when you want. But it's like if no one's doing the job, then they're gonna be more strict on us eventually, and they're gonna like start cracking down on people not doing things. But I guess people just don't realize that. It's hard for me to like try to explain that to them, but because everybody I work with is, well, I'm not gonna say everybody, but a good majority of the people I work with are really, really stupid.
Dude, and then I remember when I was working there, like I would try to ask for like my 10-minute break, because that's all they gave us. They gave us a 10-minute break like every 2 hours, I want to say.
Yeah, that sounds.
If you worked 6 hours, you would get 2 breaks.
Yeah, okay.
But it would be like 10 minutes. And so I would try to ask for my 10-minute break or whatever. And I'd be like, oh no, you can't go because this reason. But a different Chris clerk would take like 3 breaks, each of them being like 20 minutes. And I was like, they don't say anything to him?
I think what's is like worse is at Walmart. It's like their 15-minute break would not be 15. It would be like a 45-minute break in the middle of the day, just when they felt like it. So I feel you there, because like people, because like I said, managers, they don't watch us. We just take our breaks. We do our things on our own, and people would take the longest break. I have one coworker who takes 3-hour lunch breaks, then goes back on the system, and he'll fix the time to make it seem like he only took an hour lunch break. And on the cameras, the managers are aware that he does this. He still has a job. They don't do anything about it. He shows up back after, like, you know, you leave for 3 hours. He shows up back drunk. He's trying to talk to us, have a good time, but it's like, dude, you're drunk. Nobody wants to be around you right now. And you just left us to do this work alone for the past 3-4 hours.
Yeah, we had one of those too. And then I remember they would give us like 7 hours and 45 minutes. Like that was the shift. Like it was a 7-hour and 45-minute shift. And they didn't give us lunch. We just got 2 10-minute breaks. 15 minutes away from 8 hours.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they can't do that.
That's what they did.
Like
they wouldn't give us a lunch.
Yeah,
we could take a lunch, but it wouldn't be paid.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you would only work 7 hours and 15 minutes.
Well, yeah. That's still on lunch no matter what, though.
Oh man, and there were plenty of people like that too, where it's just like, why aren't they fired?
Yeah. Well, you have people like that. It's like when I first got the job at Walmart, they tell me that it's like, oh, like if you get like because we call them points or like occurrences or however they want to call it. It's like
Uh-huh.
if you get more than 5 points, then you get fired. And then you'd have people over here who work and they'd have like 13, 15 like points, and they'd still have a job. And I'd be like, okay, look, none of this makes sense. So it's like there. We know. I knew this ever since I started at Walmart. I learned this in the first 2 months. Is that there's favoritism between some managers and like employees. So it's just like, as long as you're one of the favorites, you can do whatever
Yeah.
you want. It doesn't matter.
And that's the thing too. It's just like the favorites are never the hardworking ones.
Yeah. See, it's like the ones that the managers like are like the lazy ones, the ones who don't work, the ones who don't do anything. And it's like, hey, if that's your favorite, if this is what appeals to you, then I guess I'm just gonna stop working. So.
Pretty much. I mean, I remember this one time. There was a guy that was that actually like not assaulted, but like he made like a female coworker feel weird
Yeah.
because he like touched her or whatever. And when I was working there, he was still there. Like the manager came and talked to him, but that guy, he would flirt with everyone, like all the customers that come in, like all the female co-workers and all that. And it's just like, how is this guy not fired? These associates would like talk to me about it. It's just like, yeah, it makes me feel super weird, but like the managers don't do anything. I'm just like I feel so bad.
Yeah, it's like we have like a guy like who like the women that like work over in the section that I work at, like in the bakery deli, they would have like complaints about somebody who works over in the meat department like over and over because he's kind of like an older man, and he like flirts with them, and he says like some of like the weirdest shit sometimes, and like he makes you uncomfortable. Like he's the type of guy who would like he like because I have another, there's like, because it's like the two guys who work over in me, it's like one of them like I'm pretty good friends with, and like the type of questions this like the other guy would ask would be like, he's like, I was like, oh hey man, like how's it going, like what kind of porn are you into? It's just like, and he's like what do you like to do like when you like masturbate? And it's just like, dude, like nobody wants to talk about these things with you. You're like, 'cause you're like some like weird old man. And it's just like, and like he would like, he'd ask like girls about like sex positions and like stuff like that, and just like his whole thing about being here is just like to make people uncomfortable. Nobody ever wants to be around him, and like you would have people who would actively like report him, and he still works at our department. He's still there.
See, that's why I don't understand.
Yeah, like,
But like the second you're late or you don't complete a task because you're helping a customer, that's when you're just like, you know what, you get one more and you get two more, you're fired.
yeah, see, it's like, I'm the good worker, you're gonna fire me for what? It's like yeah, it's like without me this whole operation wouldn't even be getting like done on a daily basis. Like nah, you're not one of our favorites. It's like, all right, fuck you, dude.
And that's how I felt like when I was working there. And when I quit, they were like, dude, why'd you abandon us? Like and all the people here don't do anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, or like when I would take a few days off, it's just like, bro, this person didn't do anything. Why weren't you the one working? You actually do stuff.
Yeah, and
You're
it's
the only like courtesy clerk I could stand.
it's like yeah,
It's
it's almost like I'm the only one who works. It's like that's why I can't stand it. It's like, no man, it's like, dude, like I'm done. Like, you had the chance to take me, but like I'm out of here.
Isn't work just great?
Yeah, man. Oh god. You want to keep going? We're about like an hour and 6 minutes, bro.
I mean, it's up to you, man. I don't know how much you have to talk about.
Hey, I've told the
And then if we really want to drag this out, we could make a two-parter.
Working video games, yeah.
We could like, it's just like work episode part 1, work episode part 2.
I mean, we can. I'm pretty sure you got more stories about work than me. Like for me, it's just like more complaints about like the stupid customers and coworkers that I got to deal with on a daily basis. But yeah.
If you want to make another episode, I could just look back and think on all the experiences I had, and then in another episode, I could talk about all that.
Yeah, see, look, it was a good surprise topic. We carried it out, didn't we?
Yep.
Yes. See, I knew this is something we could talk about. Like, yeah, like work in general. I was just like, dude, enough. Yeah.
I mean, it's up to you, man.
I think we got a fair bit, like a decent amount done. We're good.
Alright.
Alright. We do need to be a little bit more consistent because like It's been a while. We should have addressed it at the beginning. It's been a while since we've done an episode.
Yeah, we've been kind of busy with things, and
Oh yeah.
I'd admit that sometimes it is a bit procrastinating, but it's good.
Yeah. Another thing we got to talk about was that we did kind of have another episode planned. It was us talking about like school and situations like that. We kind of scrapped the episode because when I was going through it and kind of editing it, it just didn't seem all right and all. It was a little awkward to me, so we were supposed to do another one, but we unfortunately scrapped an episode. But yeah.
Yeah, that kind of explains why we haven't uploaded anything in a while.
Yeah, you kind of got that tiny little month gap. No big deal.
But yeah, I think this is where we're gonna call it a day.
All right, yeah. I think it was a good conversation. It wasn't bad. It's nice.
For sure. Because you're the one that gave me this surprise idea, why don't you start this one off? Why don't you start closing it out?
All right. Thank you guys all for listening to the Discussion Production Podcast with me, Ken, and Adam. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. And I did share the podcast with my brother, and he told me we gotta kind of start telling people to do this. It's remember to like the video and subscribe and leave a comment down below and talk about let's start a discussion and talk about your work and situations that you've gone through and in the workplace and
talk
stuff
about your work, talk about all your crappy co-workers. Let's talk about all that in the comments.
Yeah, so some situations you've been through, and maybe we'll bring them up in a podcast in the future. And we really do hope you guys enjoyed it all. It's always fun getting together, talking to you, Adam. I hesitated. Okay, you know how time to go off another tangent before we close it off. So I told my brother about the podcast. He listened to I think the first 2 episodes, and the one question he had when I put the blame on you because this was your thing. He said, "Why don't you guys just use your real name?" And this is you. So why didn't you want us to use our real names? That's my question for you.
I just feel more comfortable using fake names.
Fake names?
Just in case.
Just in case of what, though?
Precautionary measures, no.
What's the precautionary measure?
DDoSing and leak stuff.
Leak stuff?
I don't know.
Well, I think...
I don't know, man.
Okay, for me, starting next episode, you can start using my real name. How about that?
Alright, man.
Alright, we're still going to use a little code name. Mr. Adam, if that's your real name, which it is not.
You don't have to expose me like that.
Hey, I'm not the one who had the question. I sent it to my brother, and he was like, it's a cool little podcast and all, but one question. All right, guys, thank you for listening. We are headed out.
Peace out.
All right, bye-bye.